People in Westbrook High thought they knew Emily Ross, the quiet girl who sat in the back of the class, always clutching her books like a shield. She never spoke unless spoken to, never made eye contact, and never fought back when people mocked her clothes or her timid walk. To them, she was harmless, invisible, an easy target. But that Friday afternoon in the hallway, when a group of boys crossed the line in the cruelest way possible, they were about to learn that Emily Ross was not the person they thought she was. They had no idea that her past was filled with training, discipline, and a strength they could never imagine. And once that side of her surfaced, nothing in Westbrook High would ever be the same. Emily Ross had learned early in life that silence was often safer than speaking. Her father had passed away when she was 10, and her mother worked double shifts to keep the lights on, leaving Emily to spend most evenings alone. She wasn't unpopular because she was unkind. She was unpopular because she was different. In a school where fitting in was everything, Emily's thrift store sweaters and second-hand sneakers made her stand out in the worst way. Lunchtime was her least favorite part of the day. The cafeteria was a sea of cliques, loud laughter, whispered gossip, and the occasional sharp glare sent her way. She preferred to sit in the far corner, close to the exit, with a paperback novel and an apple. Some days no one bothered her. Other days the same group of boys, Tyler, Mason, and Chris, made her life miserable. Tyler was the ringleader, all charm in front of teachers but vicious behind their backs. Mason was the loud one, always eager to impress. Chris rarely spoke, but his silence felt just as cruel. On Friday afternoon, the hallway outside her history class was crowded. Emily kept her head down, weaving through the sea of backpacks. She was only a few steps from her locker when she heard Tyler's voice behind her. "Hey, Mouse," he called, using the nickname they'd given her for the way she avoided eye contact. "Why you always in a hurry?" Emily ignored him, quickening her pace. But in an instant, Mason stepped in front of her, blocking the way. The boys laughed, circling her like predators. And then it happened. Tyler reached out and grabbed her chest, grinning like he'd just told a joke. Laughter erupted from Mason and Chris. The sound in Emily's ears wasn't their laughter anymore. It was the echo of another time, another place years ago, when someone had tried to hurt her and her father had stepped in, teaching her something she had never forgotten. In that moment, Emily felt something old and familiar stir inside her. Her heart raced, but not with fear, with control. She straightened slowly, setting her bag down on the floor. Her voice was calm, but it cut through the noise. "Don't ever touch me again." The boys froze, caught off guard by the sudden edge in her tone. Mason chuckled nervously. "Or what, Mouse?" Emily didn't answer. She didn't need to. In one smooth motion, she stepped forward, hooked her foot behind Tyler's ankle, and twisted his wrist in a way that sent him crashing to the floor. His laughter turned into a sharp gasp of pain. Mason lunged toward her, but before he could grab her, Emily's arm shot out, deflecting him, using his own momentum to send him staggering into the lockers. Chris, wide-eyed, backed away. Around them, the hallway went silent. Juden stared. Emily picked up her bag, looked Tyler in the eye, and said quietly, "You have no idea who you're messing with." She walked away without looking back. But that was only the beginning. Because the truth was, Emily had a past no one here knew about, and by the time the day ended, the whole school would. The whispers started before she even made it to her last class. "Did you see what Emily did? She flipped Tyler like it was nothing. I didn't even know she could talk." By the final bell, half the school had seen the videos. Emily Ross, the quiet nobody, was suddenly the girl everyone wanted to talk about. But the boys weren't finished. Tyler's pride was more wounded than his wrist. After school, Emily walked toward the bus stop, only to hear footsteps behind her. She turned to see Tyler, Mason, and Chris approaching, their expressions darker now. "Think you're tough?" Tyler sneered. "You embarrassed me in front of everyone." Emily's eyes didn't waver. "You embarrassed yourself." That only made him angrier. He lunged, and Emily moved like lightning. Her body remembered every lesson her father had taught her in their small backyard before he passed away. He'd been a martial arts instructor in the Marines, and he'd made sure his daughter could protect herself no matter what. Tyler swung, but she sidestepped, trapping his arm and spinning him around until his knees hit the pavement. Mason charged, and she pivoted, using his own weight to send him sprawling. Chris tried to grab her, but she blocked, twisted, and had him on the ground in seconds. They weren't laughing now. They were groaning, humiliated, and the small crowd that had gathered was staring in disbelief. Emily didn't gloat. She didn't shout. She simply looked at them and said, "I warned you." The bus pulled up and she climbed aboard, sliding into her usual seat by the window. As the bus pulled away, she saw the three boys still sitting on the sidewalk, too stunned to follow. Word of what happened spread like wildfire. Some students wanted to know where she'd learned to fight. Others looked at her with new respect. A few teachers even pulled her aside to ask if she was okay. Emily just smiled faintly and said, "I'm fine," and she was. For the first time in years, she wasn't walking with her head down. She wasn't hiding. She was reminded of something her father had told her long ago: strength isn't about hurting people. It's about making sure no one can hurt you or anyone else again. That day, Emily walked into school not as Mouse, but as someone the whole school would remember. Not for her silence, but for the day she decided to stand tall.